Right, how's it going, everybody? This is Ismortah, and if you're just joining, this is my 7 p.m. PST Sunday night board game stream session. And this evening, I'll be sharing with you, as you can see displayed here, my Kingdom Death Monster collection. Before I get started, I just want to check the audio, so give me a second, and I'll let you take a gander while I go check. Testing 1, 2, 3. Nice. Looks like everything is a go, go, go. All right. So, again, thanks for joining. This is Morta. And what you see here is the current miniatures that I have for the board game KDM, which stands for Kingdom Death Monster. Now, what you see here, this box, is not the game. This is the, as you see here, miniature assembly kit that has all of the pieces for the game, of which some of the models I made, but this is only a small portion, even though this guy is the biggest piece that I currently own. But these are just the assembly pieces for making the miniatures. The game itself, the core game, which I have, is right here, the black box. And it weighs, if I recall, including the weight of the box itself, 17.5 pounds of pure nightmare horror. In a future stream, I'll go into how to play the game because the rules are kind of convoluted all over the place. But it's a ton of fun, story-driven game that really has 3 phases. One is you have the civilization builder, and you're trying to build and enhance and grow your civilization. And then it alternates between a civilization phase, which is called the settlement phase, and the hunt, when you're trying to go after one of these beasts as your quarry to get resources and to feed your tribe, or defend your tribe and its settlement. And during the hunt, that's really divided into 2 phases. Two pieces. You have the, what's called the hunt, where you're trying to track the monster and random events happen. And then the showdown phase, when you attack the monster, or the monster attacked you. And during even the settlement phase, you have random story events that also happen. So, and that's why I'm really a huge fan of this game. Is not only is it trying to build a civilization, keep people alive, even though people die and drop like flies, but then you're also doing the tactical of how to attack this monster. It is a miniature, as far as the showdown, it's a miniatures tactical game on how do you attack, when you attack, what do you attack with, do you hit, all that jazz. Again, I'll go into that later. It's a ton of fun. Each session takes, really each part takes a couple hours. But because I do go into analysis paralysis, I'll admit, analyze what to do during the settlement phase and also during the showdown phase, I tend to play the game a little bit longer. But you typically see it like an hour or so for the settlement and then an hour or so for the showdown, if you're going after it, know what you're doing. Anyway, more into that in a later stream. So what I have here is miniature assembly kit. So what's in here are all of the remaining pieces that I have not put together. One of the cool things about how KDM does their miniatures is they actually don't give you the entire miniature. They give you pieces on these little, I believe they're called sprues, sheets that have all the little pieces on it. And then you glue and put them together. Now, I believe one of the reasons why they did that is because then you can have a higher quality of detail, because instead of trying to make it a mold, for example, looking at this Kingsman here, instead of trying to make all of the detail with one print. You can do a specific detail for pieces and then just put the pieces together. So you probably get a higher quality doing that. But it's also the fun of building it. Like at first I thought I was like, oh my fucking god, I can't just play the game. I have to build the shit. But it actually was fun. And it also, you can paint the pieces as well, since they're at this neutral gray tone that you can. I've really seen some awesome paint jobs, and probably something I'll explore in the future as well. Now, one of the other reasons why they have pieces is because not only do you build the monsters, but you can actually build how you want your character to look, actually. So as you advance through the game, you can build different versions of your character with different armor, different weapons, different sexes, different positions. And that's some of what I'll show you when going through is you can really deck out the guys however you want them to look. So you have to look and feel. And so why there's so many sprues here is because you just have a lot of customization options on the different characters and different armor sets. But there are also a couple... Do I call them all monsters? I'll call them monsters for sake of brevity. 2 monsters I still have yet to build. So in Kingdom Death Monster... Go ahead and shut this. I don't recall how many were in the first iteration of Kingdom Death Monster, which was 1.0. What I have is 1.5, which was the latest version that came out a few years ago, whenever the Kickstarter was. And it came with 7 monsters, including a bonus one because they super met their stretch goal, which was the Gold Smoke Knight. So in total, there were 8 encounters. 3 quarries and 5... I'm trying to remember what they're called. 5... I don't want to say showdowns, but it was like 5 monsters that weren't quarries that you can just hunt over and over again to farm for materials. So let me go into what I all have. So... And I'll pan out wide so you can see, but then I'll go in close as well. So this first set of 4 here, these are the starting survivors. These are the 4 you start out with when you begin the very beginning of the game. And you see each one of these, for example, looking at this one. You notice they're standing on a bed of skulls, and they're also holding some crude sharp weapon and a lantern. And you notice that same theme with each of these characters. And that has to do with the story, which I'm not going to go into in this stream. But so you can really see, like, oh man, this is all they had when they were first starting out in this world and trying to figure out what the hell's going on and why they're getting attacked by this shit. But this very awesome detail. I mean, look at that. It's so cool. So in the game, you can have up to 4 players. Really, you can have even 5 if you had someone just responsible for controlling the monster. And if you have less players, you can have someone control more of the characters. And obviously, since you're just always running 4 characters into these hunts, that you could also play it solo. And just deck out these guys, and then as they gear up or die, you have new characters in the civilization take their place. All right, so the next set of 5 here, which I'll zoom in, are the smaller of the, I'll call them monster encounters. So and then there's one in the back. Save the best for last. So currently what I have built is 6 of the 8. Basically, how this game works is, after certain periods of time, you unlock new encounters that will happen to you, which gives you time because since this game takes a while to play. I mean, it only takes like a few hours per session, but there's the whole campaign is like 30 sessions, and that's just with the core game, that you can just build these miniatures as you go. So you don't have to build them all up front. Up front, like what I recommend is just build these starting 4, and the white lion, and you're good to go. And then as you start seeing when encounter's going to come up and what session number, you can start gluing and filing down the pieces, putting it all together for the next encounter. So I won't go into the encounter order or any of that because I don't want to have any spoilers. And again, I'm not talking about the actual gameplay for this, but I'll go ahead and show you some of these miniatures. So here is the white lion. Next up is the antelope. Meh. Here you got the butcher. This is the hand. And then here you got the Kingsman. And again, there's another monster that I have built that's in the back, which I'll get to last. And I have two left, which I have not built. And that is the Watcher and the Gold Smoke Knight. Only because I haven't gotten that far yet. All right, next up here are some miniatures that were also included that you can build that were just people in your civilization. And these two in particular was the, I believe it was called the Intimacy characters. These were the two that fell in love and had a kid. And so what I like about these is it was also an easy upgrade from the starting survivors because it sort of had like the basic gear. Like you saw that, okay, now they have some actual clothes on their body. They actually have a better weapon. And it was just a cool starting miniature of each sex. So if I swapped guys in and out to have an updated model. Next up in the back, this is the first set of characters that I custom created based on the loadouts of each of the characters. So even though as characters leveled or as characters died, it sucked or it was great. Me and my brother that I played with kept the general same theme though for the role and weapons that we wanted to have for the group before they went out in order just for balance in battle. To have each of these characters serve a particular role, whether it's in close weapon, ranged, or projectile range, or support, or more someone that could tank and take hits. And that's sort of the profile that we went with. And so based on that and the weapons and the sex, I then built each of the characters to display their current state. So let's do it. So here's the first one, which is kind of like the Rambo of the team, who just has a bunch of different weapons and gear. You see there's a bow, there's a harp, there's a drum. Really support and at range role. Next up here, we have a woman holding a spear and wearing antelope armor who can attack at range. What I mean by at range is she doesn't have to be in close. She could be a little far away because she can strike at a reasonable distance with the spear. Doesn't have to be right up in someone's face. Next up here, this gentleman is wearing white lion armor and holding an axe. Same theme, because it's a very long weapon, can attack at a small range as opposed to being in close. And then the last one here, she is wearing rawhide armor and holding a sword. So she's going to be attacking in close, but based on some of the items that she has, can actually dodge, reasonably dodge or get back and recover from hits. So let's see if we can do different angles, as you can see each of these. But yeah, these 4 were custom built. So you can build, like for example, you look at her, you can build the sex, you can decide what type of posture you want to do with the legs, the torso, and the arms, and the hands. You can choose the weapon, you can choose what armor she's wearing, even like what facial expression you want to go with on the head. So cool. I really like the antelope armor, especially the headpiece. It's so cool. All right, and last but not least of my currently what I have built collection is the Phoenix. Now, all of the characters and the enemies that you fight in a showdown, I keep forgetting the name of it. It's because I haven't played this game well. Monsters that attack you are small bases. These monsters are medium bases, and then the Phoenix is the only one I have that's the super large base. I believe the Watcher and this, I believe the Watcher maybe, I don't know off the top of my head because I haven't built them yet. I believe it may be a base size like this, and then Gold Smoke Knight. I think the last 2 are on the base like this as well, so I think they're pretty sizable. But definitely this is the only one I have with a large base, and this is the largest miniature I currently own. And it's the Phoenix. And I'll definitely see if I can walk around the table so you can see all the detail. You can see the wings have, looks like talons at the ends. Gnarly face. As well as, but you can see little hands that go all the way up the sides of the wing. And standing on a piece of tree. And the fact that they do this to scale, just like playing, for example, Star Wars X-Wing, you really get just more immersed in it. The fact that you're seeing like what they're experiencing, the fact that you have this little guy down here and trying to take out this large guy. Really sort of feel what they're going through, in a sense. Yeah, and this guy was fun to build. And currently it's the biggest miniature I own. So what's next? So I do have multiple expansions that I'm waiting on for KDM. I believe Wave 3 is going to be August of this year, which is going to be the Gambler's Box, which is basically a box like this with just a shit ton of miniatures. A lot of them are just cosmetic, that they were just like different people that you could have in your civilization, or miniatures that they just made for fun based on the theme. But what's also included is what's called advanced KDM, their philosophy of death system, which is basically a more defined, involved, and difficult version of KDM. I just know vaguely because that's something that's causing the delay for this, because Adam Poots is really, it's basically like it's an upgrade to the game. And so the fact that he has this chance, any upgrades he wants to do to include, that's why there's a delay on that. But that's what's going to be included. It's a box of like 100 miniature, like a whole bunch of different miniatures, like 15 different guys or something, and then the philosophy of death system. And what I'm also waiting on is 4 actual expansions. One is the Griffin, which is a gigantic beast, just like the Phoenix. And I'm also waiting on the Honeycomb Weaver and the Nightmare Ram, which I believe are quarry monsters the size of these. And the Griffin is a quarry monster as well. And then I'm also waiting on an expansion. That's the Death Armor. That's armor that just entirely use resources of bone to create. So the armor is just ensconced in bone. Your weapons are completely bone, which is supposed to be the epic weapons you can build from the very beginning of the game, that we have awesome, powerful items at the end of the game, if your settlement lives that long. So that's what's coming. So when I get those expansions, I'll definitely do another video showing you those models, as well as when I get further along, either in playing KDM or when I build the Gold Smoke Knight and the Watcher. I'll show you those models as well. Otherwise, sometime in the future, when I actually play this game, I'm probably going to wait for probably August. That way I can start the game over again with the new models. But I'll do a solo campaign, and with that, I'll show you how the game goes as I'm going through the game, as well as show basic gameplay mechanics as well. Well, this is what I got. A lot of awesome pretties, and more pretties to come. Well, thanks for watching. The next stream that I'm doing will be tomorrow, Monday, 7 p.m. PST. I'm going to, during the online card game stream, I'm probably going to do some Hearthstone, possibly Magic, but I'm leaning toward Hearthstone. So if you're interested, tune in then. Otherwise, my next board game stream will be next Sunday, 7 p.m. PST, and that will be showing off my entire board game collection and what I have and what choices I went with for the games and what I think of each of the games. Well, thanks for watching. Again, my name is Ismortah, and I'll see you next time.